Hi there. This is Piper Downs coming at you again. I just wanted to do a video basically on beginning pipe smoking. I basically just started a couple months ago, and I learned a few things on YouTube, but most of it is from you learn how to smoke a pipe from smoking a pipe. I just never had anybody put it to me in the right way. So it took me months to figure out, or at least a month to figure this stuff out. First thing I want to talk about is pipes. Walgreens sells pretty good pipes, actually. Everybody says pharmacies are garbage. Don't go to a pharmacy for your pipe stuff. Well, that may hold true for the tobacco because they sell pretty garbage tobacco, but their pipes actually are not bad. This is a Dr. Gerbeau Grand Duke that I got from there. It's actually my first pipe, and I don't have the stem on it, but this is another Grand Duke Dr. Gerbeau. This one's called a Royal Duke, but it's a Rhodesian, and these are all Dr. Gerbeaus. They're $30 pipes, brand new, which actually, though, Walgreens only sells the Grand Duke style, the straight billiard with either rusticated or non-rusticated, and some of them are paneled. But they're pretty good pipes. They hit good. They smoke good. I mean, they're $30 pipes. They're basically considered throwaways. I don't think so. I mean, I think there are Dr. Gerbeaus on eBay that are 70 years old. And they're made in the U.S., not Europe. They're made in North Carolina. But once you start with and also Walgreens sells corn cobs. They sell Missouri Meerschaum. Those are $5 pipes, and they hit good. They're good pipes. Also, pipe tobacco. I have a couple of blends here, which actually, what I'm smoking now is Frog on a Log, which I will say the Frog Morton series is probably the best English series for a beginner. They're all very low or very mild. They have flavor, but not too much flavor, just enough to introduce you to it, get you to like it. And I actually have Frog on the Bayou. This is like amazing. It's not quite it's like the mildest I've heard of the whole group, because I haven't tried them all. I've just tried Frog on a Log and On the Bayou. But On the Bayou is like, it's very mild, but they add the Perique, which gives it a whole nother dimension of flavor. Which is great for beginners, I think, just to slowly add flavors. Because then there's On the Town, which has a little bit of Turkish and Oriental tobaccos in it. I mean, it's just introducing you to the English blends step by step. First you just get straight Latakia and Virginia. The next one is the On the Bayou, I believe, and you get the Latakia and the Virginia plus Perique, and then there's On the Town, which has Orientals in it, minus it's basically On the Bayou minus the Perique plus Orientals. And then they have the Cellar blend, which is I'm not sure exactly what's in that one, and then they have Across the Pond. I think that one has Syrian. It's Syrian Latakia in it. That's what makes Across the Pond special. And another tobacco I think is really good for beginners, Sir Walter Raleigh. Now a lot of this is, I think this is a make of Burley and Virginia tobaccos, but it's super smooth. It's not an English blend. It's an American Virginia tobacco, basically, with Burley in it. Honestly, I think this stuff is probably the best starter blend out there. I know that a lot of people start off with aromatics, but I feel like if you start with aromatics, you'll have no frame of reference, because when people start, you don't know any of the flavors yet. You don't know the Latakia flavor, you don't know what Virginia tastes like, you don't know what Burley tastes like, you don't know what anything tastes like, because you know you've never tasted it, each individual one, to be able to recognize that flavor in a blend. So when you start with an aromatic, I feel like, you know, they add vanilla or cherry or whatever, Cavendish, and I guess you'll get the Cavendish flavor, but you know, all those added flavors cover up the Virginias and the Burleys and everything else in there. You're not getting any of those other flavors, I feel like. You're just getting the added flavor. Whereas if you start off with something like this is Burley and Virginia. Just Burley and Virginia. So when you start off with this, and let's say you try another tobacco, you'll be able to recognize the Virginia and Burley, if there is any, in another tobacco, because you know what it tastes like. You've tasted it. You have a frame of reference. And that's why I think starting with Virginias is probably your best bet, or starting with something that doesn't have flavor. You know, it doesn't have a flavor added. Like the reason why Frog Morton makes such a good starter blend is because it really doesn't have a lot of flavors. You know, it's just the Latakia and a tiny, tiny bit of Virginia. So it's like getting you familiarized with the flavor of Latakia. That way, you know, you can find out if you like it or not, if you like that individual flavor of Latakia. You know, because if you don't like that flavor, you're not going to like English blends. And then with this one, they add the little bit of Perique, the On the Bayou. It's like, when you smoke it after you smoked Frog on the Log, you can taste the Perique because you know what Frog on a Log tastes like by itself. So when you try On the Bayou, immediately off the bat you can tell the difference, and you'll be able to recognize that different taste is Perique, you know. And that's a frame of reference. In the future, when you come across Perique again, even if you didn't know it was in there, you should be able to taste it because you tried a blend like On the Bayou. You know, and that's why I think it's not such a good idea to start out with aromatics, because you're not really getting it's not a pure tobacco flavor. You're getting tobacco plus this other stuff, vanilla, cherry, whatever. Also, you don't have to have one of these. Check tool or a pipe tool. You can use a nail or a screw or pretty much anything that has a round top to it to tamp. But yeah, you're gonna have to use a tamper because pipe has to be tamped. Reason for that is when you pack a pipe, it shouldn't be super solid. It should be kind of springy, the tobacco in there. So when you put flame to it, the tobacco wants to expand and come out of the bowl and poke out of the top and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And you've got to tamp that down and pack it back down, you know, decently, you know, so it's dense enough for the ember to burn through it. Now, as you get further into the pipe, you know, as you smoke for a couple of minutes, you'll notice that every few minutes the pipe isn't hitting as good. It's not as a big draw out of the pipe. It's because what happens is your ember, all that tobacco continuously wants to pop up and decompress itself from where you just packed it into. So as the ember burns down, it's continuously puffing up like one of those little snake things for 4th of July. It continuously expands. So what ends up happening is that here's your ember. There'll be a space of air between your ember and here's your tobacco. There'll be a space of air between them. And the trick to tamping is tamping that ember ever so slightly back down to the unburnt tobacco, to where it touches that unburnt tobacco and catches all that unburnt tobacco on fire and keeps the ember going. because you know that air pocket between the ember and the unburnt tobacco, you've got to shorten, or you know, shorten the space. You know, and that's kind of the science behind that anyway. On top of that, another good thing to have would be matches. I use wood matches most of the time, but I mean, you don't have to use wood matches. Although sometimes I don't use them. I usually use them to light the pipe and then use the lighter to keep it going if I need to relight it throughout the smoke. You know, it's up to you. But you definitely don't want to use a torch lighter, you know, that has a blue flame. You don't want to use that. It'll damage your briar, scorch it. Also, you don't want to, when you light a pipe, you want to keep that, like when you strike a match, you want that flame to be about that size, or you know, maybe a little bit bigger. But you don't want a monster flame, because they're so big that it'll scorch the outside of your pipe. See, I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see how my pipe is black on the top. It's because I've scorched it. I didn't know that that happened. I didn't know that if you know, use a Bic lighter, you know, and get it on the edges, you know, that it scorches the wood on top of the bowl. So you definitely want to keep an eye on that. Keep from doing that. Yeah, so you know, we've come to the end of the video. I hope that all my tips and hints helped out, and till next time, happy hunting.